Hello and welcome to the Radiate Wellness Podcast with your host, metaphysician, Reiki master, and hypnotherapist, Christy Clemens Hoffman. Each week, we will discover teachings, tips, and tools to radiate your best life ever with practitioners, authors, and luminaries to help you on your path. Wellness, joy, peace, abundance. What do you want to radiate?
Welcome back to the Radiate Wellness Podcast. Today we radiate vitality with Ashley Torian, who is a vitality coach and who lived with anxiety for years. I can relate, maybe you can too, while raising her two sons and building a personal training business. She discovered the pathway to peace and freedom by actively participating in her own journey. And now she helps others to do the same. Welcome, Ashley. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here with you, Christy. Thank you.
Oh, please. Thank you. Thank you. And so you had lived with anxiety. Yeah. So how did that look for you? Everybody's anxiety is a little bit different.
Yeah. So I was a worrywart all of my life, like childhood, growing up, worrywart. I had the airplanes in my stomach all the time, that kind of thing. But then when I was in my 20s, after I had my second son, I was about 25, I guess. And I was at a hotel at a convention for a company that I was moonlighting for. So I was personal trainer during the day, and I worked with a lingerie company at night, direct selling lingerie in the home. Super fun job. But I'm at a convention one summer, and it's time for me to go up the elevator one night. And I go to press on that elevator button, and the doors open, and I couldn't get on. I all of a sudden got really scared. And I had always kind of been scared of elevators, but it's like I went, oh, I can't get on that, and nobody's approaching with me. So I took the stairs. Personal fitness trainer, I am in shape. I've got this. I can go to the 8th floor with no problem. So I go in there and I just run up those stairs. I get to the top, and all of a sudden I find that my heart isn't stopping, right? It's not slowing down. It's like beating out of my chest. And it was my very first anxiety attack I had ever had, and it threw me. I was terrified all night long that I was about to die. Could not fall asleep at all. It was the scariest moment of my life, trying to calm myself and not being able to.
Right.
So all I could think about was, I've got to find, my dad was there at the location. It was his company, and my husband was there. And so I just was trying to find one of them, right, to make me okay. And it doesn't happen. When we look outside ourselves for the healing, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. And I was on that journey for quite some time, living in terror with two small boys. They were 2 and 3 at the time, and just terrified out of my mind all the time for probably 5-7 years.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is certainly something a lot of people can relate to. Anxiety is kind of an epidemic right now. And more people are finding that, all these things that I'm feeling, that's actually anxiety disorder, right? So you're not alone.
No.
How did you find your way out of it?
It's really, I love the journey part, because it is filled with a lot of tools, and you get to decide what's going to work for you or not. And, for me, this fear that I had that lived within me, I found that there was only one way for me to do it. And one night, or every night, I would read books to my kids at nighttime, right? We just always do that. And one of the books that they had was The Miracles of Jesus. And it was this beautiful, picturesque book. And it told specific stories from the Bible about the miracles of Jesus. And one of them was about the woman who was sick, and she was spending her fortune on doctors, right, who would heal her, and she just could not get healed. And her fortune was gone. She was at her wit's end. She had hit her dark night of the soul moment. Mm-hmm. And then she heard that Jesus was coming through town, and she went, oh, yes, that can do it. And whenever I would read that story, that she just had to reach out and believe and touch the robe of Jesus and believe that she was healed, I thought, that'd be so cool. If I could just touch that robe of Jesus and be healed, wouldn't that be great? And, I let it sit in me, right? And so then one day, it was, several years later, I'd gotten to the point where I could manage the anxiety. It wasn't a full-on attack 24/7 anymore. I could manage it, but there was always just that little river of it going in me. And I am going through the DFW airport. I lived on the north side, and I had to go to the south side for a client. And so I was barreling through there, and all of a sudden, bam, another attack was just slamming into me. And I thought, what is going on? No. I mean, it was one of those moments where you hit the fist on the dashboard. No way. I am not
giving in to this.
Not gonna. And I remember just raising my hand up through the windshield, right? I'm in this Jeep, and I'm raising my hand up, and I said, no. I said, God, I know that I can be healed. I know in a moment I can be healed and not experience this ever again. Mm-hmm. I believe that to be true. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I just relaxed with it. I went through the airport and just stayed with that belief, and got to my client's house, and I realized, it's gone. It's gone. And I never had an attack like that ever again. I've gotten nervous. I've gotten things like that, right, but I've never had an attack before since then. But, it teaches you something about belief, doesn't it?
Oh, because absolutely.
Belief is the key. And I went through more fear in my life. My fear wasn't over.
No, of course.
The moments were still present.
Right. I mean, fear is a physiological reaction to stimulation that keeps us safe. I mean, fear is not a bad thing. It's there to teach us something, to show us that, wait a minute, you're about to fall off a cliff. There might be danger around you, right? The fear and anxiety is meant to keep us safe. But, your point about belief, I think, is so essential. And, as a Reiki master and quantum healing hypnosis technique practitioner, I know that belief is required. And honestly, I believe that all healing is faith healing. Yeah. If you have faith in medicine's probably going to work for you. If you have faith in surgery, physical therapy, diet, nutrition, all these things, they're probably going to work for you. If you have faith in the unseen, energy healing, and you practice body talk, and I want to talk about that. But if you have faith in that, faith in all these different things, it's really necessary to achieve that. And the woman in the Bible had such faith that Jesus would heal her. I'm a big fan of Jesus myself. So
it's such a beautiful story. It gives you such hope. And I think that's important for people that have that anxiety tendency. There are some that have that tendency for anxiety, and others, I have never felt anxiety in my life. What are you talking about? I have no idea what that feels like, right? Mm-hmm. And for those that have that tendency to be that belief that you are peace. I just searched for peace, and I wanted to resonate peace. And that's what I searched for. And I found it. And now I can just tap right into that peace whenever is necessary. Whenever I feel myself getting off course, it's like I armor up in my peace. I stand firm in that. And then when we're the residents of a state of operation like that, oh my gosh, the service you can provide.
Oh, that's amazing. Bring peace to others, at the very least, bring peace to others. But yeah, when I keep coming back to the image of God. I call God spirit, or source. And so feeling surrounded by that presence, that divine, and knowing that you're not alone, all is truly well. And that just brings so much peace. So, Ashley, you were already in this kind of wellness and entrainment type of world, right? As a physical trainer. How did you get to that?
How did I get into that? I love the physical body. I do. Ever since I was a little girl, I was on a tumbling mat all the time. I mean, from the time I can remember, 3, 4 years old, I was on a tumbling mat. And I love the physical body, how it moved. I loved the mobility, the flexibility, the strength, the ability to go, and just give it your all with something and just find that strength within you to come out. It was a thrill for me. And so it was just such a natural process for me to go into that. But at first, I went into fashion merchandising because I had also loved fashion. So I did that first. But I didn't like those classes. They weren't very fun. they didn't bring me joy. And so after my freshman year in college, I switched. I said, you know what? I just love the physical body. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I did. So, and I've stuck with it ever since.
Yeah. And so you were already this physical trainer who, did the fashion on the side, of course. And then in your anxiety and healing journey there, it sounds like you found some other tools to help.
I did.
What did you find?
That journey was going through a time of fear of to eat. So I spent probably 5 years in a food jail where I was terrified to eat food. I remember going to a restaurant in Maui. And, if you're in Maui, you want to eat that food, right? I mean, it's just delicious.
It's natural and it's all good for you.
Yes. And I was sitting there at that table and the food is put before me and I'm paralyzed. I'm like, I can't eat. I cannot eat this at all. I can't even put it in my mouth because I think I could die. I mean, it was just such an interesting phenomenon to go through, a person who loved to eat, to go through all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I can't eat at all.
So is this different than anorexia?
It was much different than that. In fact, I have now found that they have a word for it, and I don't like to put labels on it, but now they call it ARFID.
Huh.
ARFID, it's that fear to eat. Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. I mean, there are fears and phobias of literally everything, and and a name for it as well. But interesting, I have not heard of that. Did that come on just suddenly?
Well, it came on little bits at a time with my favorite foods: apples,
Yeah,
peanut butter,
you're speaking language.
Yeah.
Food is apples and peanut butter. Yes. Okay.
Best ever. Yeah. So those were the first foods that I became afraid to eat. And, people go, oh, well, if you eat them all the time, you're going to become sensitive. So you may notice something, I had it felt like a knot in my throat and I wouldn't be able to swallow. And it was a very interesting phenomenon. And then from there, just more and more foods, I became just afraid to eat. Afraid that I would die and have a reaction and die. And so there were about 10 foods that I could eat and feel safe. So I prepared my food for everything. I never went without my own food. And it was a journey. And that's how I got into the psychology of eating. I thought, you know what? If I have this, I'm sure there's a lot of others.
Oh, yes.
From personal training that, my clients would have such issues with food and the overeating, the undereating, the the late night eating, just all those habits and stuff. So psychology of eating, mind, body, nutrition. And then I was able to get into the emotional side of it with emotional resolution to help people break that pattern, because really it's just a pattern. That fear I had around food just became a pattern, right? So we break that pattern that's stored in the subconscious mind. You replay that tape and you resolve that emotional attachment to it. You can eliminate the fear altogether, eliminate that stress response altogether, to where when a food is before you, go, oh yeah, okay, I can eat that. Yeah. So it's very beneficial for those, especially with eating things, but then those who have overspending tendencies, or have relationship issues where their mate gets on their nerves. They have a trait that just like drives them nuts, like leaving the toilet seat up, or those silly things like that. Those can send us for a loop and into a real fight. And so you just emotionally resolve that connection to it, and then it's like, oh, I can handle this like a common sense adult, right? And not have that issue.
And not have an issue with it. Absolutely. The human mind is so fascinating. And so what type of training or certification did you pursue to work with clients in that realm?
Yeah, so the Institute, the Emotional Health Institute, Emotional Health Institute, they're out of California. And that was a very fun program, right? To be able to learn how to do that actually, and especially for myself with all the anxiety that had been stored in my body. So I'm still cleaning out some things from that, but it just gets better and better all the time. I feel freer and freer all the time from that.
Wow, that is fabulous. And then along the way, you discovered Body Talk.
I did. That was one of the first things that came through my door to help with the anxiety.
Really? Oh my God. So how did you stumble into that? And tell us about it, just because I know that our audience knows.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I'm not an expert at Body Talk or anything. I have been participating in it. And but the way I came across it was, there was this girlfriend of mine that had been a massage therapist. And you know what? I stood her up 3 times before I went to that Body Talk appointment.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What's that about?
Fear, right?
Sure.
The fear, it was another way for that fear to come up. You're going to be doing something new. Is it in alignment with what you believe? Is it, right? It's just like, and I trusted her, but it was just a matter of, Ash, come on, get your stuff together. Right?
Exactly. That's crazy. So, and are you now a practitioner of Body Talk?
I'm not. No, I've done some training programs with them, but I'm not a practitioner of it. Yeah, not yet.
Right.
I haven't decided if that's something I want to fully do, but I've been doing it since I think my first appointment was in 2012, 2011. And that was one of those cases where it was exactly what I needed. And I believe now, as I look back on that she was put in my space for a reason, right? She was put on that journey. That's why she kept appearing, right? Standing her up 3 times, and God kept going, no, you need this, Ashley, right? And so it was one of those things that helped me be able to release that anxiety that I had stored and the fear that I had stored in all of my tissues. It helped me to really cleanse my body of that, so that it wouldn't sabotage me going forward.
Right. Sure. Just another way to get clear, get connected, get in tune with the body, and release all of the stuff that we're carrying around. That's kind of my realm too, with the emotions and the body, that, we carry all this stuff with us unless and until we release it. Now, so you're a vitality coach, and you founded BioBalance, which is the company that you started. And you're also a published author.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, so the book is Join Me in the End Zone, and that is around END. END stands for embrace the wonder of your lovely body, nourish your body for your life purpose, right? So when we focus on nourishing the body for what you are here to do, you've been given a gift to share and to impact people, encourage people. And so if you nourish yourself for that and keep that in your mind, you won't overeat, you won't eat food you're not supposed to. You'll nourish this body so you feel good doing that. And then digesting, the D stands for digest, and it's digesting your life experiences, your emotions, letting things process through you, but also learning how to digest your food and drink as well. So you feel lighter, freer, and don't have those digestive hangups. Right?
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Did you know that Radiate Wellness is more than just a podcast? That's right. We're also a comprehensive, holistic wellness practice. Find out about our services, practitioners, and upcoming events at radiatewellnesscommunity.com. While you're there, visit our podcast page to read more about our great guests and even donate to the podcast. If you like our podcast, you can help in other ways as well, like subscribe or follow us wherever you're listening right now. Tell a friend, a family member, or a coworker about the great content you find here. And if you wouldn't mind, please give us a thumbs up, a 5-star rating, or a positive review. Sounds like a small thing, but it really helps. You might like to know about our Facebook communities while we're at it. We have a free community, the Radiate Wellness Community, on Facebook for news and great free content. Our subscribers group is Radiate You, as in the letter U, but also, well, you. There you'll find curated replays of past classes, guest interviews, and more. And now, back to our podcast and back to our guest.
And you also have a new podcast.
I do. It's called Armor Up Talks, and my flagship program for all of my coaching is called Armor Up. And it is truly about getting yourself armed up for your day. So before you ever get rolling on your day, armor up in what you stand firm in, the truth of who you are. And so the Armor Up Talks podcast is just helping people to be able to find that within them so that they can stand firm in that and anchor to that so that they show up fully for their life, living out their life purpose instead of being hung up in all the puddles that life can bring in, right? But living from here, from your heart, instead of in all the gunk. Yeah, love it.
Wow, that is awesome. So, of course, that is available wherever podcasts can be downloaded. Is that correct?
They are, yes.
Fantastic. On all the things, as I like.
All the things, yes. Apple, everything. Mm-hmm.
Apple, Google, Spotify, all the things. Yeah, that's fantastic. And then you're a speaker as well. So you do corporate talks and stuff like that?
Yes, I do. Yes. Corporate talks and just whoever retreats. Yeah, I'm doing my first live retreat in November, the first weekend of November, and I'm excited.
Yes, I'm doing my first retreat in the spring, so it's exciting. And that retreat is going to be in Texas?
It is. It's going to be up in the Red River Valley at the Blue Ostrich Winery and Vineyard Guest House. Yes. So
that'll be nice. Are you still taking registrations?
No, it is closed.
Closed for registration. That's okay. Our audience will have to catch the next one. So you'll have to let me know how it goes.
Well, certainly.
Yes. Something I wanted to talk to you about is I found in your press materials about the 3 brains.
Yes.
That was interesting. And I was like, wait a minute. What is that? So can you tell us about the 3 brains?
Yeah, so we have our head brain, which is our thinker, right? And sometimes it is the one that gets us in the muck puddle. We have our gut brain, and the gut brain is really has collected data, more data on us since the day we were born, and it knows our likes, our dislikes, it knows what scares us, it knows what brings us joy. It is it is the barometer of our emotions. And then we have the heart brain, which is our connector.
Yeah.
That's how I like to put it. It's our connector. It's what keeps us connected to source, to God. And it is also the place where we are our most intuitive, whereas the gut is more instinct
Yeah.
and head brain is more fear. And so to me, when we are tuning in to that and being able to take advantage of those 7 beautiful seconds, when a thought comes through, we have 7 seconds before it takes root if we want to believe it, if we want to follow through with it. And so when we slow down and we are integrated in this process, we can see in the 7 seconds, oh, wait a minute, that was my fear mind just trying to take me down a rabbit hole. No, I don't believe that, right? And reconnect to your heart. And when we wake up our gut brain, that's when our vitality soars. So we shut off that ego mind that's scared to death and we tune in to the heart. And when we're slow and our gut is healthy, our gut brain is awake, we're eating to the point of energy. We know when we're hungry and we only eat when we're hungry. We don't overfill ourselves at all. And we're in alignment with circadian rhythm. We eat and wake cycle with the sun. And so our vitality just soars when we nourish that. And that's me being the vitality coach. That's what I am all about is let's just elevate some energy in people, right? Let's get them shining. A lot of people are, because of the digestive issues that is just running rampant right now, I feel like it's just killing people's vitality. Yeah. And they don't have the life within them that they could have if they could just get their gut brain awake. And you don't need a lot to do that. I did mine by not using any supplementation because I was afraid to eat. I was afraid to take supplements. But I knew I had to heal my gut. So how did I do that? I did it through the way that you're showing up, who you're being. Are you in alignment with the sun? Are you honoring this body temple in the way that it truly operates? Yeah. And it's just all that. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. It sounds like you really enjoy what you do.
Do.
Yeah. What do you love about your job and what you do?
Yeah, it helps people to feel good. It helps them to rise out of their muck puddle so that they can live their life as they're truly intended to live. We're not supposed to live inside of that muck being a victim of life. We're to be the masters of our life, right? And so it helps people to do that, help them rise up out of their own muck and realize they've got this,
Right. Do you have some success stories that you'd like to share?
About muck puddles?
Well, maybe getting out of them.
Muck puddle? Yeah. Like with the client.
Yeah.
We had this one client who came to me. She was so bloated and her stomach hurt her all the time, just constant stomach pains. And she was a small frame, I would say, but she had this tummy that was driving her crazy, and she ate all the time. She always had food on her all the time. She ate every couple of hours. And I just said, okay, look, I'm going to have you doing some really odd stuff. You're going to think I'm wacky, but I promise you, just hang with me because you will see on the other side of this the beauty of it. And she goes, okay, I'm going to trust you. And so I just walked her through this process of how to show up with her food, how to eat when she's eating, to stop eating all the time because the gut brain's snoozing. when you eat and feed your gut all the time, then the gut brain never has a chance to send off ghrelin and let you know that it's time for food. So it's always full. And when the gut is full, it's always sleeping. So it causes stomach discomfort.
Mm.
When you're eating under stress, it causes stomach discomfort. And so we changed her whole operation because she was this fast. She's a creative type, but she was fast, right? And she always had to be doing something. And so I just slowed her roll. I said, we are going to totally change the way you operate in your life. And we did. And her stomach pains went away. Her bloating went away. She no longer has to have food bars. She saved so much money on groceries alone because she wasn't eating all the time. She trimmed up. She didn't, I mean, when she first came to me, I thought, well, she didn't need to lose any weight, and that wasn't really her issue. But her body slimmed down, I believe it was 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And because that bloat was gone and she didn't have to eat all the time. So we saved her money. She felt good in her own skin. She is now just thriving, just continuing to walk that talk, and it's just a beautiful journey to have watched her go through that so miserable, right? And now she's totally free. It's really fun.
That's exciting. I'm looking at your website, ashleytorian.com, and it looks like you've got some really great stuff on here. There's, you can find your book. You can, find out more about some of the talks that you're giving, working with you, personal training. But then I'm looking at the tools. This is fun. So can you talk us through some of the tools on your website?
Yeah, so I believe one of them is the hand tools for the eating. And that's one of my favorites because people always go, how much am I supposed to eat? I need to measure my food. I need to count my calories. I need to count my macros. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, because that only sends, especially us women, what does that do? It restricts us, sends us into a state of stress. Anytime we're in stress, our gut brain shuts down and we store fat.
Yeah.
So what the hand tools do is it just helps you be able to determine until you can wake up your gut brain fully, because your gut brain will direct you on all of this. But when you're just getting to know that, if you have fat at a meal the size of your thumb, if you have your vegetables the size of your hand, your open hand, and then your protein the size of your fist, then you've got a very well macronutrient balanced meal, and it works great. Yes.
That is so cool and so easy to follow. I'm looking at your page on your website here, and you've got pictures of a thumb. It's like, okay, I've got that with me all the time. It's like, look at that. No, that's wonderful. And then you've also got your free ebook that you're giving as well, and then programs. So can you walk us through your programs?
Yeah. So I have several digital courses. One of them is the Ultimate Health Breakthrough System, which I totally love. That's my newest one. And that goes over the 7 keys to creating that vitality within you. And it goes through how we show up, our circadian rhythm. It goes through about hydration and food. It also covers your state of operation, who you're being at any given time, and all about positivity. It's a wealth of information all inside a digital course. So that's my favorite. And then there is one-to-one coaching available, but then also my group coaching, which is the Armor Up program. So I have the foundational Armor Up, which teaches you all the tools. And then there's Armor Up Life, which if you want continued accountability, it's this ongoing group coaching that's held every week to keep you accountable to using the tools and really diving deeper in your elevating process.
That's wonderful. All of this and more can be found at ashleytorian.com. Now, I have to say, Ashley is spelled kind of a different way, no E. So Ashley Torian, and of course the link will be in the show notes. So just click the link in the show notes. And Ashley, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think is important to mention? Anything that, anything else that you think that we need to know?
Yeah. So what I would love to say is, number one, stop looking outside of you for the answer. If you are having any type of trouble in your life, if you're having any type of thing you're trying to get over, if you are just like me, trapped in that anxiety, stop looking outside of you, because the answer, your peace, is found within you. And it is not within anybody else. It's only you. So get connected, right?
I love that. And listen to the Armor Up Talks podcast and check out your website. Great. Thank you so much for meeting with me today, Ashley. It's been a joy to talk to you and learn more about what you offer and about your journey. I always love to hear people's stories.
Thank you. I am so grateful to be here with you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Radiate Wellness is an international community of holistic and alternative healers dedicated to helping you create spiritual, energetic, and physical well-being. To learn more about our practitioners, services, classes, and events, or to schedule an appointment, visit us at radiatewellnesscommunity.com.